Over 100,000 kilograms of solid gold were used in its construction. Platinum coated entire sections of the deck. Rare stones, meteorite fragments, and even Tyrannosaurus rex bones were embedded into its walls. A master suite was fitted with panoramic ocean views and finished with precious metals everywhere the eye landed. It was unlike any other vessel ever made, and it pushed the conversation about luxury yachts into a new, surreal space. And yet, as staggering as History Supreme is, the concept of a $6 billion yacht goes even further. To build such a ship, one doesn't just need designers and money, but also the infrastructure of nations. Shipyards like Lürssen in Germany or Oceanco in the Netherlands are among the few companies capable of even approaching a project of this scale. Lürssen, for example, has a legacy stretching back over a century, with a headquarters in Bremen-Wegesack and multiple shipyards scattered across northern Germany. They are known for producing some of the world's largest and most sophisticated yachts, such as Azam, which at $600 million remains one of the longest yachts ever built, stretching an incredible 590 feet. A yacht on the scale of 6 billion would require not just their experience, but likely the combined effort of multiple facilities. Thousands of skilled craftsmen, engineers, welders, and electricians, all working in unison for years. Building such a yacht begins with the hull, the skeleton that will carry all of its unimaginable luxuries across the water. These hulls are typically constructed in sections, massive steel blocks that are welded together with extraordinary precision. For a $6 billion project, however, even the process of hull construction pushes boundaries. Some visionaries have proposed modular construction at sea, similar to what was envisioned for the Freedom Ship, a project that has been in planning stages for decades. The Freedom Ship was designed to be a floating city, over 4,300 feet long, 25 stories tall, and capable of housing 50,000 permanent residents, along with 15,000 employees and 20,000 daily guests. It would have displaced over 2.7 million tons, dwarfing the already record-setting Seawise Giant, the largest ship ever built, which had a displacement of 657,019 tons. Though Freedom Ship has never been built, the concept reveals the sort of thinking that a $6 billion yacht inevitably inspires. The hull is not just a base, it is an engineering challenge where stability, durability, and aesthetics must all meet at impossible standards. Once the hull is in place, the question becomes power. How does a vessel of this magnitude move? Bezos's Kourou relies largely on wind power, with its towering masts and sails, but most ultra-luxury yachts in this class depend on massive engines, often gas turbines or hybrid propulsion systems that blend efficiency with raw power. The goal isn't just to move across the ocean, it's to glide. A $6 billion yacht must cut through the water so smoothly that passengers barely feel a ripple, as if the laws of physics have been softened for their comfort. Noise reduction technology is crucial because no billionaire wants to hear the groan of engines during a midnight dinner party. Some designers have even floated the idea of nuclear-powered yachts, borrowing concepts from naval vessels, ensuring near-endless range and a surreal level of autonomy. For those who can afford it, fuel is never the concern. Silence, smoothness, and reliability are. But the true spectacle begins when you step inside. The interior of a $6 billion yacht makes palaces look modest. Imagine rooms larger than presidential suites in the world's top hotels, but every surface lined with rare materials. In History Supreme, there were walls embedded with meteorite stone and dinosaur bones, a detail that seems almost absurd until you realize it was exactly the kind of eccentric luxury its owner wanted. In a $6 billion vessel, the possibilities are limitless. Master bedrooms could feature glass walls with retractable shutters that turn from transparent to opaque at the touch of a button. Dining rooms could be lit by custom crystal chandeliers designed by the world's leading jewelers. Movie theaters would not simply have plush seats and screens, but immersive 3D or even holographic projection systems. Spas would feature cryotherapy chambers, salt rooms, and hydrotherapy pools that rival the finest health retreats on land. A kitchen would not just be fitted with high-end equipment, but staffed by Michelin-starred chefs who travel with the yacht, curating menus to match every whim of the owner and their guests. And yet, for all the luxury, the technology embedded in these yachts is what truly sets them apart. Some yachts already come with missile defense systems, anti-drone jammers, and cloaking features that block radar signatures. These are not indulgences. They are necessities for billionaires who face constant security threats. A $6 billion yacht would be a fortress as much as a playground, equipped with technology rivaling military vessels. Underwater observation rooms would give guests panoramic views of marine life. Artificial intelligence would manage lighting, entertainment, and climate, anticipating the owner's preferences before they are spoken. Private submarines would slide from hidden compartments in the hull, allowing discreet exploration of the ocean depths. Helicopter pads would be expected, not optional, and some designs have included entire runways for small jets, turning the ship into a floating airport. But owning such a vessel comes with a constant price. Maintenance alone on a yacht like History Supreme is estimated at $50 million a year. A $6 billion yacht could easily require 2 or 3 times that amount annually just to remain in pristine condition. Dozens of specialized cleaners would work around the clock, polishing gold trims and platinum decks. A permanent crew of 70 to 100 staff would be required, not just to operate the ship, but to maintain the lifestyle expected on board. Chefs, spa specialists, helicopter pilots, submarine operators, sommeliers, security teams, and event coordinators would all be part of the payroll. Insurance costs would be astronomical, given the sheer value of the materials and the vessel itself. For perspective, many super yachts valued between $200 and $500 million already cost tens of millions per year to run. Scale that to $6 billion, and you are talking about upkeep that rivals the GDP of small nations. It is easy to ask why. Why would someone build such a vessel? Why spend billions on what is, at its core, a boat? The answer lies in what yachts mean to the ultra-wealthy. To them, a yacht is the ultimate symbol of power. Unlike a skyscraper or an art collection, a yacht moves. It sails into Monaco, it docks in St. Bart's, it anchors in Dubai Marina, and everywhere it goes, it makes a statement louder than words. It is mobility combined with visibility. For some, it is also about legacy. Ships live long lives, often longer than the men and women who commission them. To build the most expensive yacht in history is to etch one's name into maritime legend, to ensure that your vessel will be spoken of long after you are gone. For others, it is simply about living without limits, about testing the boundaries of what money can create. Compared to Bezos's Kourou at $500 million, or Roman Abramovich's Eclipse at $590 million, or even Azam at $600 million, a $6 billion yacht is not just bigger, it is conceptually different. It belongs in the same conversation as Freedom's ship, a vessel designed not just for leisure, but for entire communities. It borrows ambition from the Seawise Giant, the largest self-propelled object in human history. It incorporates the extravagance of History Supreme, the technology of military craft, and the imagination of science fiction. It is no longer simply a boat, but a floating civilization in miniature. And perhaps that is what makes the subject so fascinating. The building of a $6 billion yacht is not just a story of wealth. It is a story of human capability, of what can be engineered when resources are unlimited. It is a story of artistry, where designers treat entire decks as canvases. It is a story of contradiction, where an object meant for leisure requires more steel, energy, and effort than many naval fleets. And it is a story of ego, because at the end of the day, no one builds such a ship out of necessity. They build it because they can. Because to them the sea is not just water, but stage, and the yacht is their spotlight. If the building of a $6 billion yacht feels almost mythological, it is because history itself has always been shaped by ships of extraordinary scale. For centuries, empires were measured not just in land, but in fleets. The Spanish Armada, the British Royal Navy, the American aircraft carriers of the 20th century, all of them told the story of who ruled the seas. The difference today is that the world's most impressive ships are no longer built solely for war or exploration. They are built for individuals. They belong to the richest men and women alive, and they no longer represent the power of nations, but the reach of personal wealth. To understand what a $6 billion yacht means, you have to step back and look at the legacy of great ships. Take the Seawise Giant, for example. Built by Sumitomo Heavy Industries in Japan during the 1970s, it was an oil tanker of such enormous proportions that it became the largest self-propelled object ever created. At over 1,500 feet in length, with a displacement of more than 657,000 tons, it dwarfed not just yachts, but cities. And yet, even that vessel, with all its size, was built for commerce. It hauled crude oil across oceans, sustaining industries and fueling nations. When it was damaged during the Iran-Iraq War, sunk, salvaged, and eventually scrapped in 2009, it carried with it the legacy of a time when the scale of ships was determined by global need. Contrast that with today. A $6 billion yacht serves no utilitarian purpose. It doesn't haul oil, doesn't move goods, doesn't transport armies. Its only cargo is luxury. Owners, friends, celebrities, staff, and perhaps a few billionaires looking to be impressed. And yet, the engineering challenges are nearly as complex as building a vessel like Seawise Giant. Stability, propulsion, safety, aesthetics. These challenges don't disappear simply because the mission is pleasure. In fact, they often become harder because the demands of luxury are far less forgiving than those of industry. A crude oil tanker can groan and rattle in heavy seas. No one cares so long as the oil arrives. But on a yacht worth $6 billion, the glass of Dom Perignon on a marble table must remain perfectly still no matter the storm outside. That is why shipyards like Lürssen in Germany and Fincantieri in Italy have become temples of modern excess. Their hangars are the size of city blocks, their dry docks deep enough to hold half a skyscraper laid on its side. The people who work there are a unique breed, engineers who can weld with precision down to millimeters on 100-ton steel plates, carpenters who carve teak decks as though shaping cathedral pews, electricians who wire entire floating cities without a single error, and interior designers who treat each room as if it were the private commission of a king. When a $6 billion yacht order comes in, it is not just another project. It becomes the centerpiece of the yard's reputation. No one forgets who built the world's most expensive yacht. It is a badge of honor, a declaration that their yard stands above all others in skill, innovation, and secrecy. Secrecy, in fact, is a crucial part of this world. Unlike cruise liners or cargo ships, which are public from the moment their keels are laid, mega yachts are often built behind closed doors, shrouded in non-disclosure agreements and security protocols. Owners don't want their plans leaked to the press before launch. They don't want competitors to know what new technology or design they've demanded. Sometimes, they don't even want the world to know they own the yacht at all. Robert Kuok's name has long been whispered in connection with History Supreme, but no official confirmation has ever been made. For all anyone knows, another billionaire could have commissioned it under layers of shell companies. The anonymity only adds to the myth. The building of these yachts is a process that can take anywhere from 5 to 10 years, depending on scale and customization. For a $6 billion project, it would almost certainly be on the longer end. Delays are inevitable, whether caused by sourcing rare materials, implementing untested technologies, or simply the ever-changing whims of the owner. Billionaires are notorious for changing their minds mid-construction. A swimming pool suddenly needs to become a retractable amphitheater. A helipad must be converted into a dual-purpose runway for personal jets. The owner decides they want an entire deck redesigned because they saw something more impressive at a rival's party in Monaco. Each change costs millions, sometimes hundreds of millions, but the money is never the obstacle. The only obstacle is time and the patience of the teams bringing it all together. The use of materials alone separates these yachts from anything else afloat. While commercial vessels rely on steel, aluminum, and composites, billion-dollar yachts demand the extraordinary. History. Supreme's use of meteorite stone and dinosaur bones is perhaps the most extreme example, but even less eccentric yachts incorporate rare woods, marbles, crystals, and metals sourced from every corner of the world. Gold leaf ceilings, diamond-encrusted fixtures, onyx bathtubs, nothing is off limits. And because these materials are often fragile or difficult to work with, the level of craftsmanship required is extraordinary. Imagine trying to carve and fit a 20-foot slab of onyx into the hull of a ship, knowing that a single mistake could cost millions. That is the daily reality of yacht construction at this level. Technology, too, plays a role that cannot be overstated. The world's richest clients are not satisfied with simple luxuries. They want innovation. They want what no one else has. For some, that means underwater observation decks with reinforced glass walls stretching 20 feet across, giving the illusion of living inside an aquarium. For others, it means private submarines docked within hidden bays, capable of descending hundreds of meters into the ocean. Roman Abramovich's Eclipse famously included a submarine and an anti-missile defense system, but on a $6 billion yacht, such features would be considered basic. Owners today demand AI systems capable of managing everything from entertainment to climate, fingerprint or retinal scanners on doors, drone detection fields, and in some cases, military-grade countermeasures. It is not paranoia, it is precaution. When your yacht is worth more than most countries' military budgets, security is not a luxury, it is a necessity. But beyond the engineering and the spectacle lies the psychology. What drives someone to commission a $6 billion yacht? Part of it is competition. The ultra-rich live in a world where peers are not neighbors down the street, but other billionaires scattered across the globe. When one builds a $500 million yacht, another seeks to outdo it with a billion-dollar project. When History Supreme captured headlines with its gold and dinosaur bones, whispers began immediately about who would go bigger, who would create something even more audacious. For billionaires, yachts are not just toys, they are scoreboards. And because they sail into the most glamorous harbors in the world, Monaco, Cannes, Saint-Tropez, Dubai, there is no hiding them. A yacht is a public declaration of private wealth, a way of saying not just I am rich, but I am richer than you. Another element is legacy. Castles crumble, companies can be sold, art collections dispersed, but a yacht remains a singular object tied forever to its owner. The Titanic, though it sank, is still remembered as the grandest passenger liner of its time. The sea-wise giant, though scrapped, is remembered as the largest ship ever built. Likewise, a $6 billion yacht would forever be remembered as the pinnacle of private luxury at sea, its name etched into history long after its owner is gone. For some, that immortality is worth every cent. The economic ripple effect of building such a yacht is enormous. Shipyards employ thousands of people. Local economies thrive on the wages paid to skilled craftsmen. Suppliers of rare woods, metals, and stones profit from contracts worth hundreds of millions. Even after launch, the yacht continues to generate jobs. Crew members, port workers, maintenance staff, and service industries in every port it visits. Ironically, while the yacht itself symbolizes the concentration of wealth in the hands of one individual, its existence spreads that wealth across a surprisingly broad network. Cities like Monaco, Barcelona, and Dubai have built entire industries around catering to mega yachts, from marina services to luxury provisioning companies that specialize in delivering caviar, vintage wines, and bespoke goods directly to a vessel's deck. And yet, there is a darker side to the phenomenon. Critics argue that these yachts are symbols of grotesque inequality, floating monuments to excess in a world where billions live in poverty. When news broke of Bezos' Kourou and its $500 million price tag, many were outraged not just at the cost, but at the bridge in Rotterdam that might have to be dismantled for it. To them, the yacht wasn't just a ship, it was an insult, a reminder of how the ultra-rich live by different rules. The History Supreme has faced similar criticism. Its very materials, dinosaur bones, gold, platinum, have been described as obscene, a flaunting of wealth that spits in the face of sustainability and reason. To its critics, a $6 billion yacht is less an engineering marvel and more a symbol of the widening chasm between rich and poor. But this criticism does not stop the building. If anything, it fuels it. For some billionaires, the very outrage these ships provoke is part of the allure. What better proof of your status than building something so shocking that it dominates headlines worldwide? In this sense, yachts become cultural artifacts, sparking debate about wealth, inequality, and human ambition. They may be criticized, but they are never ignored. And in the world of the ultra-rich, being talked about is a currency all its own. The future of these yachts is even more fascinating. Concepts are already being drawn for vessels powered entirely by renewable energy, fitted with solar sails or hydrogen fuel cells. Designers are imagining floating biospheres with self-sustaining ecosystems, indoor forests, and aquaponic farms. The line between yacht and floating city is blurring. Some predict that the world's first trillionaire may one day commission a yacht so vast that it permanently circles the globe, functioning not just as a home, but as a sovereign entity, with its own laws, economy, and population. Freedom Ship hinted at this possibility, but a $6 billion yacht could be the prototype. The building of such ships reveals something fundamental about human nature. We are builders by instinct. From the pyramids to skyscrapers, from cathedrals to space stations, humanity has always sought to create things that defy logic, that push beyond necessity into the realm of awe. A $6 billion yacht is, at its heart, the latest chapter in that story. It is decadent, yes. It is indulgent, without question. But it is also a marvel of engineering, artistry, and vision. It reminds us of both the heights of human ability and the depths of human vanity. It shows us what can be achieved when money is no object and ambition has no ceiling. And so, the story of these yachts continues. Bezos will sail his Kourou, Abramovich will host parties on Eclipse, Azam will glide through the Mediterranean, and History Supreme will gleam in Dubai Marina. But somewhere, in the hidden offices of designers and the cavernous sheds of shipyards, plans are already being drawn for something greater, something that will make all of them look small. A yacht not of 4 billion, not of 5, but of 6. A yacht that will dominate not just the seas, but the imagination of everyone who hears its name. A yacht that will remind us all that when it comes to the ultra-rich, the ocean is not a boundary, but a canvas. And their yachts are not boats, but signatures written across the water. Because in the end, a $6 billion yacht is not just built. It is imagined, demanded, crafted, and finally unleashed. And once it exists, it changes everything that comes after.